Ta-da! Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Evan Matthews, co-founder and CEO at Macroverse, and I'm not sure where Tiny is tonight, so I have titled tonight's stream "Tiny Universe?" Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I hope that he's okay, but it may just be me this evening. Although I did put out a feeler for a surprise mystery guest, so we may somebody fun joining. In fact, we do have someone fun joining. But as a quick note before I bring him on stage here, and we'll have a little chat, which is a little different than we normally do with this weekly show. Can definitely do some updates. There's not a ton still that I can talk about, but there is a lot of stuff going on. But let's just dive right into it. I see an empty desk in the preview here, but so actually, you know what? I'm going to wait till I see a human show up. But I do have a guest coming in the back, and I think he's got a cup of coffee, and I think he's here. Say hello to the one and only Mr. Matt Stevens, creator and artist of Digital Pools.
Not coffee, water. It's
all right, water, fine. I guess I'm just dreaming of having coffee myself. But
yeah, no, 8:30 here. That would be a bad decision on my part.
Yeah, this is not what I meant to talk about, but I've just gotten to the point. Like my whole life, I could drink coffee right before I went to bed, and it would never bother me or keep me up. And literally within the past week and a half, I'm like, oh, I don't think I can do this anymore. You know? Like this sucks.
I could never do that. No, I'm like a 4:30, 5 o'clock. If I'm not taking the last sip by then,
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a late night.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Yes. How are you, man?
Good. Yeah, doing really good. Yeah.
Excellent.
How you doing?
I am also doing really good. It's I don't know if you've been, I think you did say you've been kind of seeing some of these streams, but I do feel like a broken record every week kind of saying like, there's a lot going on and I'll talk about it soon. And there's still a lot going on and I'll talk about it soon.
Yeah. No, it's, I can't say too much.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I get very excited. Yeah.
I know maybe a little bit more of the things that you're talking about. So
you do. Yes, you do.
I am. I'm sworn to secrecy, but it is major stuff. Really exciting stuff. So
it is good stuff. Well, how are you? I mean, this is the first time that you've been able to join the stream. That makes me very excited.
And me too. I mean, no Tiny.
No Tiny. It's Matt's universe tonight. In fact, let's just make it official.
Shout out to Dim Sum. I don't know how to chat in here, but I see you.
Oh wait, it might make me. There we go. I don't know if it'll change it for anyone else, but I just retitled this stream Matt's universe. So it is officially yours. Tiny has lost his place today. I hope he's okay because we were definitely planning on chatting this evening. So
maybe he'll show up late.
Yeah, it's all right. It's cool. If he does, and if he doesn't, we'll talk to you. So Matt, for anyone that doesn't know, phenomenal artist in your own right. Also co-creator and artist on Digital Pools. You've done a bunch of other stuff around the Macroverse at this point. Anyone that doesn't know you, do you want to just kind of give a little intro to you and some of the stuff that you're up to and working on?
Yeah, sure. Matt Stevens. I'm an artist. Was pinged about 5 years ago by a fellow creator, now my creative partner, Alex Robnet, on Google of all places. And it's part of our story now. But we had a great phone conversation and said, "Hey, you want to draw this comic?" And everything he was saying, it was like one of those every word he was saying about simulation and connecting to an alternate reality were all things that had been floating around in my mind for years. And he just said all the right things, and I got off the phone and told my wife, I was like, I think this sounds like the real deal. So he sent me a script, and I just was kind of hooked. It seemed like a really fun, big project to dive into, and no pun intended. And it's been 5 years, and we're 200 pages in.
Yeah.
Um, and just starting issue 7 um, this fall. So yeah, there's a lot behind us, and about half behind us, and another half ahead of us. So, and as far as me, I'm an artist, illustration background. I'm an art teacher. I teach high school art, so that's my day job, which I love. And so it's awesome. I get to talk about art. I get to teach art. I get to make art, and they all kind of feed each other.
Yeah.
The teaching feeds the making, and the all of it kind of, So that's my little backstory.
I love it.
A little, and Alex, who will not be here tonight. He's the digital pools was his story. It was living in his brain for a while. He is. I don't think he'd mind me saying this. I'm 95% sure, and if not, I'll apologize.
5% room for error. Sounds pretty good. All right.
Yeah, he's in the hospital. The good news, he's in the hospital right now with his wife, and they're having a son. So
amazing. I don't think I realized that. That's its own kind of adventure for sure. So that's awesome. Well, digital congratulations to Matt and baby number what?
Give me a second here. It's
74.
Baby. Yeah. So he has a big family, so it's baby number 6.
Wow. Yeah.
Baby number 6. Yep.
No wonder the scripts haven't been coming in as quickly as of late.
Yeah. I won't say his name, the young son's name, but it's a pretty good one. I think he picked well.
It's a series of numbers and hieroglyphs.
It doesn't translate in to our ears, but
that's right. You have to scan a QR code to understand it. That's awesome. Well, that's very cool. So yeah, I mean, I met you guys 3-ish years ago at this point. I feel like maybe even a little bit before that, maybe 3.5-ish, or something like that. But yeah, I came across digital pools first, and then I don't remember if you guys reached out to me or if I saw stuff on Instagram or some kind of connection where we were just getting the first version of the platform up and running, and then really the mobile app at that point. And then
Alex reached out to you because you were posting a real interest in NFTs and Web3, and it was on our minds a lot too. Like how does this work? And I think he just sent you a DM and just said, "Hey, we'd love to just jump on a call and pick really at that point it was just pick your brain about what you're thinking about."
There we go. Okay, yeah, I do have a vague memory of that, and then that just led into several conversations, and then I think relatively quickly going, we should get this on the app and see where we go from there. And I think the thing that I love is you guys are in a very small circle of creators in my mind that are truly independent, but also truly doing the work as if you were backed by any significant publisher or any other sort of entity, and that is a relatively rare thing. I mean, I think we can tease a little bit that we do have plans to bring digital pools into print and bring the whole series kind of into a bigger spotlight over the next year. I think one of the things that's interesting as we've gotten to have a bunch more conversations on the publishing side of things is just how discovering kind of something it's obvious if you think about it, but it's not necessarily obvious if you grew up in the era that we were collecting comics, when it was just like the machine of the X-Men is coming out, and whatever you're collecting, it's like from the big two especially, it's like you would get runs of books from the same creative team for 20, 30, 50, issues. That is so rare these days. And I think, that was the the thing that I hadn't really realized is that, getting even 10 issues from the same creative team is a pretty uncommon thing these days, even for Marvel and DC. So they've become kind of a lot more like television miniseries in the same way that TV has in that sense.
Yeah.
And so it's to me it's one of the things that's kind of interesting and exciting of some of what we talked about with digital pools is that as this kind of goes out to a broader audience, not only is there so much material already there for people to discover, but you guys actually have the ability. Although now that there's a new baby, this might slow us down a little bit, but have the ability to put to do a monthly book, which is actually just incredibly rare.
I don't think it won't. I don't think it'll slow us down too much because Alex did a lot of front loading this May through last week.
I'm really just kidding. Even
no, I know you are.
Once you've done it 6 times, you better have it dialed in. But
yeah, he's got to hand over the work he's done to me, and then honestly, it's on me for the next 3 months to draw all the stuff. Maybe longer than 3 months, but yeah,
that's awesome. Well, if anyone is watching this that is familiar with our Drip channel, there's a couple of cool things we can talk about with Drip. So one of the early drops on the Macroverse Drip House channel was digital pools related, actually a few things at this point. So there's episode 0 is up there as a collectible. We then did a series of characters from the character collection that will still see its full glory in the we can talk more about timing, but I have a timeline for that now, which is good. Which I know is actually news to you as well. And then
talk on screen or off screen about this. Is this news that can be shared
off screen for the official timeline? But there's a roadmap now. And then the from there we did something which I always love, which is taking a character from that character collection, which was one that I actually got a hold of and bought, and then turning that character into a short story set in the canonical world of digital pools, which also kind of is always fun to tie into the lore and to find some ways to make that feel like it's its own thing, but it also has a bunch of kind of Easter eggs and references to other series in Macroverse, as well as the larger digital pool storyline. So that one is up there as well on the Drip House channel. And then most excitedly, we just found out today, after working on putting this together for a little while, that Digital Pools will be launching its own channel. And I don't think we have an official launch date just yet, right? But we'll find out probably tomorrow what that date is.
Yeah. There's a call tomorrow that I think will probably, I'm not quite sure, but it sounded like that call will maybe give us a day.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. So so that'll be very exciting. And having seen some of the stuff that you have put together for some of the early drips, I think people that are collecting under House will definitely want to follow and subscribe and get some droplets ready, because it's good.
Yeah, we're gonna treat it. I think we're not that we invented this, but we're gonna treat it sort of like a season, and seasons, and in each season, we'll offer a variety of things, including some character stuff, PFP like stuff, including some episodic stuff, and I mean, I don't know how much should I or can I say about.
You say whatever you want people to know.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then, right. And then we're going to be, so the world of digital pools, I'll just give the 25-cent version, is there's a new technology that is called a digital pool, and people are able to submerge themselves in these pools, and the nanofluids in their body in this near future that Alex has written about. The nano machines in their bodies will connect to the nanofluids that they're submerged in and bring them into a simulated reality where it's like the real world. You can smell, you can touch, you can taste, and great things can happen in this world and do. But of course, with any new technology, there's a dark side, and there are nefarious elements that are looking to take control and have power and just commit crime. Um, so anyway, the digital pool, the actual object, is really important to the story. And Alex and I have spent a lot of time talking about the technology that, would make something like this happen. So um, part of the release in the seasons will be pieces of a digital pool that you can collect
Yeah.
and basically mod out your own digital pool. And I think we got to talk to Drip about it, but there will be a mechanism where you can collect the pieces and then maybe burn them to at the end of the season. If you're a holder of all the all the assets in the season, you can burn that to create your own digital pool. And so we're really excited about that. There's a few tiny things to work out, but the initial the sketches of the pools are done in the pieces, and so yeah, we're looking forward to see 3D.
Oh man.
And I know exactly that smile.
Yeah.
But and there will be more too to talk about that in the future. But there, to at least to start, it will be orthographic drawings of digital pool parts that you can burn to create your actual own digital pool.
Pool parts.
Pool parts.
That's awesome.
To the pool store.
At this point, are they all the same, or are there like variations of kind of modding out your different pool?
So all I've drawn so far is the base pool. So I have the angle and I have the base structure and the four a total of 4 parts that you need to assemble a full digital pool. But I've only drawn the base one. But we've talked about all the cool ideas, the demon pool, the ethereal pool, the total geeked out, nerdified, tons of wires pool. So there's so much runway there to to run.
Maybe this is what you're already thinking, but I think it would be really cool to me if, like, especially with the drip house mechanic of it, if like different parts are different rarity tiers, and it's like potentially it's almost like a PFP collection where you could take the different pieces and mix and match them in some way. Just to make it more work for you, but
So the way it's drawn is that the pieces will be interchangeable. I just haven't wrapped my head around thematically how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex and I have to have another conversation about that. I mean, maybe a kludge together pool would be really cool, and you can kind of
I think it.
But then maybe there's a purity to having all the demon parts, or I don't know, something like that.
Well, I can imagine both. You just kind of put out the sets and then let people collect them, and there's even some potential value in going like, well, I want the full I want the full demon pool experience, including the fire and smoke coming out the bottom of it, or whatever. But then I also have these 5 different pieces that when I put them together, it's like, well, it's the demon pool cover, but it's the fuzzy Mickey Mouse bed top, and it's the Hello Kitty sides, and it's
it's like when you were like
crazy
12 and,
hot rod stuff that people would do
hot rod stuff
pieces,
like your Huffy bike, and you're like, oh, I got this fender from my buddy, and I got this, mirror from my cousin, and just whatever you can get, you put. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
idea
exactly. I
too.
think that could be fun as like people potentially, if people really got into it, it's like you could see some people trading different parts and like making them chase the really exclusive ones or
Yeah.
different kinds of things. You have some not to get into any copyright issues, but you could also have a lot of fun with like something that's like the Mr. Fusion attachment from like Back to the Future that's like on
Oh yeah.
one of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like there's like lightsaber banisters around one of them or whatever.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Yeah.
all kinds of fun.
That's the cool thing about drip too, is that it allows you to have that secondary market
Yeah,
where it's not a huge lift to
yeah,
I bought stuff on the secondary market that I just
totally.
liked, that
Yeah.
one guy on drip that I like a lot, Vanta.
Mm-hmm.
um I say guy, I'm not even sure if it's a man, but the one artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like his stuff. I bought a couple rares and I think a legendary on the secondary market, tensor, just because I like the stuff and it's not like
Yeah.
a huge monetary lift. That's such the cool thing about
Yeah.
drip, is that you can have fun with this playground and not really, you don't have to spend a lot. I
Yeah.
suppose you could if you wanted the really, really cherried out rare,
Yeah.
ultimate stuff, but you definitely don't have to, and you can get really cool
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I mean, I love that too. It kind of just lets you play at whatever level you want to, and it's like there are some channels, and we've done this too, where it's like we put a premium on something that we want to make really exclusive or make really rare, but at the same time, it's like my feeling for the stuff that we do at least is like every piece should be awesome, and then if you can find
Yeah.
ways to make them feel a little more rare or exclusive in some way, that's awesome. But I think the base, I've always, everything we put out, I try to make sure that the base piece is also really cool.
I think we did a good job with that, with the digital pools
Yeah.
covers for episode. What was it? Oh, it was for the Golden Girl episode.
Yeah, for
Where
sure.
each cover was, I think, really cool,
Yeah.
and thematically they were connected, but they also, all 5 covers tell a story. So if you had 5 covers, it's almost like a little flip book of a scenario that happens to the baddie on the cover.
Yeah, I love that too. That was totally your idea and well executed, and it is really cool. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, and if you have any idea what we're talking about Drip House, if you check out the Macroverse channel and look for that golden, what did we call it? The Golden Goddess, the Golden Circuit,
Phantom Circuit.
Phantom Circuit.
Phantom Circuit. Yeah.
When we're working on the script, it was the Golden Goddess, I think. But yes, the Phantom Circuit. And just click through the different rarity tiers of the covers, and you'll see a little story that plays out. And then if you actually read the episode, it's a nod to kind of the almost a series of moments kind of that could be happening tied into the episode, which I think is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Very, very cool. What else have you been up to? Just in the world of pop culture and geekdom, what have you been watching or enjoying or paying attention to?
Well, in terms, I'll take a half a step back. In terms of creating, while I'm waiting for Alex, I'm working on a comic that I wrote for a 4-issue comic called Panopticon, about a space prison, which is written in the first issue's sketched and getting close to being inked.
That's so cool.
But so this is my first sort of personal written and drawn by thing that and I don't know where it'll live or where it'll go, but it's good. I'm pretty pleased with it. So it's a nice thing to just as an artist, to have that other thing that's kind of, there's no deadline. It's just just for the love of it. And I'm really good about working every day on
Yeah.
whatever I'm working on. So I chip away at it every day. So it'll be done in, done in a year or something, maybe less.
Yeah.
So creatively, that's that's been taking up a lot of brain space. Watching, what am I watching? We're My wife and I are on issue 5, not issue, episode 5 of Time Bandits.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't started that yet, but I've heard it's pretty good. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling because that and Star Wars, and that was my childhood. I was a kid of the 80s, so Lethal Weapon, Star Wars, a trilogy, um, Time Bandits, Monty Python, all that stuff is my like childhood wheelhouse. So it had, and I've probably seen that it was on replay on HBO back in the 80s
Yeah,
and 90s.
totally.
Right. So, and I've watched it recently within the past couple of years, and it still holds up. So the series, was like, is this going to be? How are they going to do this without A, messing it up,
Yeah.
but B, giving us the reason why it needed to have a remake, right? And I think they're doing a good job of it. It's got some Monty Python sensibilities, and a lot of funny lines, and I just imagine Time Bandits being stretched over 10 episodes instead of an hour and a half. So I'm
That's cool.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's in my queue for sure. But it's awesome.
Yeah. How about you? What do you?
What have I been consuming recently? Not as much as I typically do, because been very focused on a bunch of stuff that we're working on. So I'm in a mode right now where it's like, even when I could be doing other stuff, I find myself coming back to work on the stuff that we're working on at the moment. So it's always kind of a good feeling when you're like, I want to be doing this right now. So what have I seen recently? I started watching. It's not a good sign when I can't think of the name of it, but I did really enjoy this season of House of the Dragon. I just finished that recently. For anyone that I was a massive Game of Thrones fan, not a huge fan of how the series ended, but I think overall still one of the best, kind of general kind of best experiences with a TV show. And then didn't love season 1 of House of the Dragon. I thought it was good, but it was also kind of meandering. Mostly, with my critic hat on, mostly I felt like it was too small. And that the thing that Game of Thrones did from episode 1 was give you a sense of the scope of the world while still being very intimate with the particular characters. And I thought House of the Dragon season 1 really struggled with, we've seen this giant world and now basically we're living in one house is what it kind of felt like. And so I think season 2, like, they brought in a new creative producer, and you can really see, like, I think it feels like Game of Thrones now, I think, in a way that season 1 didn't, while still being, kind of a new story and not feeling overly derivative. And so this season delivered for me on kind of what I wanted from that. And really enjoyed that. And then, also recently loved this most recent season of The Boys. And then the show, which is it continues to be a surprise to me if you haven't seen it, is The Bear.
Season 1 of that.
So I mean, season 2 is even better. I think season 3 was even better. Like, to me, it just gets better and better. And every time it comes up, I'm like, I can't believe that a show that is essentially about cooking is the most riveting drama on television. And like the amount of tension and drama that they are able to pull out of that cast of characters in that situation is just unparalleled. It's so good.
I heard you talking about it last week, and it had fallen off my radar. After season 1, not that I didn't like it, I just how there's so much out there.
Totally.
after hearing you talk about it, it popped back on.
Yeah.
So it's on my list of things to jump onto.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other thing I just recommend to everyone is Blue Eyed Samurai. Like if you haven't seen that,
Oh yeah.
so good.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So I've been that every time I'm not sure what to watch, I sneak in a rewatch of an episode of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so beautiful.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, God, and the story, I mean, great. All of it's just real subtle, and
it's just top notch across the board. And I guess my final recommendation on the film TV side is anyone that missed Scavenger's Reign on HBO is now on Netflix as well. And also just stunning. Really hoping it gets the Netflix bump to a second season because it was spectacularly good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that. I don't know if I watched the last episode.
Now you have two places.
Yeah. Maybe I did. I'm trying to think. The pacing of it is very interesting. It has a different pacing to it where the arcs are, I don't know. It's a different. It's more of a bumpy, arcy feel than these big swings. So, and you're not quite sure sometimes if you're witnessing a big arc or if this is just some wacky shit. That's happening in the world.
It's both. Yeah. To me, like that feels like the closest thing I've seen in animation that is more like a European graphic novel kind of a vibe. Like both the art style and also like the pace and the tone of it feels to me kind of like a Mobius story or something in some ways, but very cool. So those are top of mind for me as I think about what I watched. I've watched some other stuff, but none of it's coming to me at the moment. So there you go.
Me too. We watched Evil, which is, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too. I haven't watched that, but I've heard about that. Yeah,
that's kind of fast. It's not as cohesive as like House of Dragons or it's a little bit lighter fare, not quite fast food, but it's more casual meal. And there's the demons are great. The costuming for them, they did a great job with that. But it's a lot of fun. It's fun, but it's not you're not sitting up at night thinking about the high concepts. Good acting though.
Yeah, very cool. Let's see what else is going on. So, what can we talk about? As you said, some more of the stuff that is going on behind the scenes. I'm trying to think if there is anything from last week that I can give an update on. A lot of what we're doing right now is just finishing deals, basically. So we opened up a lot of opportunities, and most of them are kind of proceeding and falling into place, it looks like, but there's just the process of finishing contracts and going and answering questions that come up, and in some cases going from one group of people that need to sign off on something to the next group of people that need to sign off on something. And so this is just part of the process for getting all the different pieces in place. As I said with in the last couple of weeks, the thing that I can say is that the first kind of significant product launch of the stuff that we've been working on now for close to a year is going to be by mid-October. We'll have fully revealed what that is, and probably sooner, but that will be at the very latest in people's hands by the end of October.
Are you talking about the 2.0 version of the episode collection, or
not exactly?
I feel like Tiny.
That's good. Someone has to try to Someone has to try to draw it out of me. No, so the platform is definitely evolving, and I think some really positive ways. It's going to take a little longer for us to get to kind of a fully realized kind of release of what the next version of that's going to be like. I am very excited about it. We're taking a pretty different approach to how we're building some of it out, and I will, now and when it launches, give some credit to Drip House for some kind of rethinking about some of the ways that we're doing things, and not exactly what Drip is doing, but definitely some learning that I think we've had from being on the platform and participating in kind of what Drip House has done and continues to do. I had a conversation with Vibu a few weeks ago now, and it came up in the conversation where like, I'm not sure if we're competitors.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I've actually that has stuck with me a little bit, and I don't think we are. I think we are only competitors in the way that we might be competitors for attention in the broad scope of everything that people would spend their time on. But I think of Drip House a lot more like I do social media or Instagram or, kind of that type of experience. Whereas what we're trying to build is very targeted on a very specific set of activities. And at least for the foreseeable future, I don't see a whole ton of overlap as much as I do opportunities for collaboration. So I think, we'll find creators that are doing stuff on Drip that will also really enjoy doing stuff on and with Macroverse. And I think there will be, people that are doing stuff on Macroverse that will find Drip to be a wonderful complement and outlet for what they're doing there. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for kind of augmenting each other, and much less kind of direct overlap.
Adjacently parallel with some overlap.
Exactly. And I think, one of the things there's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but because we've had such a positive experience on Drip, and we do want to make it a additive experience with some of the stuff that we're building, like there will be some not how would I want to say this? There will be some ways that what you've done on Drip, especially with us, will have some impact as we roll out the next version. So that's something I'm kind of excited about. We figured out a couple of things that don't currently exist in the world, which should. I feel like this is always a plus and a minus as we go about building these things, where it's like, it'd be nice if we just could take something off the shelf and do what we want to do with it. And then, so too many times now we've had to be like, oh, it doesn't exist, I guess we have to make it.
I mean, without getting too specific, does it have to do with a larger integration of your history of assets that follows you?
Sort of. It's more of just, what do I want to say right now? It's more of just, we want to recognize, this is the philosophical point of view. We want to recognize people's participation. And so, this is kind of the drum I want to continue to bang for how we want this to grow as an ecosystem, is that going back now, even pre quote unquote Web3, it's like, as much as possible, we want to be able to recognize and ultimately reward in a bunch of different ways the things that people do that make a difference for what we're trying to build. And so if that's, being able to see that you participated in a particular way with what we did on Drip House, or if it's, you have a certain number of NFTs from collections that are now under the Macroverse umbrella, like, these are all things we want to be able to just be able to see. And so I think that's been the thing that's, kind of missing, is that there's no easy way to do that across different platforms, across different chains, like, being able to just recognize, here you are, here's a very simple way that this technology allows us to, just see what you have and what you've done in various capacities, and not just, on the blockchain side either, but just like, how have you made a difference in, your participation with what we're trying to accomplish, and ultimately what we hope we're all trying to accomplish together. Even early on, and I don't remember if this was before we started working with you guys or after, but one of the things when we first launched the mobile app and we started to do Facebook and Instagram ads and acquire subscribers and getting people on the platform and kind of all the traditional kind of app growth stuff that we started with, we got to pretty quickly a kind of what does it cost to acquire a download, essentially, to get someone to download the app. And so like in the early days, like we were actually really good getting like about a $3 per install, for people downloading the app and getting on the app. As we were kind of just ramping up in the early days of the pandemic, like that was cost us about $3 to get someone to download the app, and then we would keep about 80% of them, which was actually really high across for both of those metrics. And so at that point we're like, if it costs us $3 to pay Facebook to get a customer, why would we not pay our own creators the same amount to have a referral to the app? And we never got as far with that, like actually building out that system as we wanted to. But it's that's the thing I always keep coming back to, is like, if we're gonna end up spending money in a specific place, or if we're gonna recognize like, we need to be making more noise on social media or whatever, it's like, whatever those actions and activities are that, especially when it comes to like, we would be spending on this anyway to accomplish this particular goal. We're trying to figure out more and more ways to make it make it something that's valuable to the community and to the ecosystem first, and then see what we need to do from there. So some of that is all theoretical and exploratory, but some of it is stuff that is actually going to be pretty ingrained in what we're doing right now.
Yeah. One wallet to rule them all.
Not even a wallet. It's interesting.
No, I know.
But I will have something for people to see in the next few weeks as well. So that'll be very cool.
Cool.
And then the first thing that we're launching in October is going to be completely unexpected, but somehow all connect back into everything that we've been doing and talking about. So that's my teaser, and I'm sticking to it.
I don't think I know anything about that.
You might not know this specific.
No, I don't think actually. I do. Yeah, that sounds new to me.
To be revealed. But yeah, so lots of good stuff going on, lots of activity. What I will say is really cool is I got to see a copy of Mickey Mouse comic from 1934 today, which was very cool. It was in shockingly good condition.
I would love to see the printing.
Yeah.
That was probably
you forget, like, this is something that as we've been looking at that, is like you kind of forget, and we had this when we were collecting early on, but it's like the way that comics are made and colored and everything else now, it's like it's completely different than it was in the early days of these books. And everything from the paper stock to the actual printing techniques, like it's actually a very different piece of material, even though it kind of is recognizably a comic, but it's functionally and aesthetically quite different. So I think it's so cool to in some ways, like all the things that computer coloring and better paper stock and all that has done is opened up this whole world of creativity, but it's still kind of astounding to see what they could accomplish with basically a 8-color palette and having to figure out how to mix dots and patterns together to accomplish textures and different colors and lighting and like all that stuff. It's amazing.
You saw it in person, like in like, or over a Zoom?
Over Zoom today, but with someone that saw it in person, that had it in their hands, which was
wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Very, very cool.
And it was a Mickey Mouse from like a Mickey Mouse comic?
Yeah, I believe Mickey Mouse Magazine, I believe from
Mm.
1934.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very cool. So, yeah.
Seems like a bit of a teaser in itself.
Not really, but still very, very cool. We did, we talked about this. We did a Cypress Hill thing a few weeks ago, and some new activity kind of going on in that side of things as well. So we'll probably have more to talk about with music as well, which was a little unexpected, but also very exciting.
Yeah, cool.
So some cool stuff there. So yeah, I think those are my updates for the week. I think that the main thing, I'm so glad you were able to jump on, and I hope that people will keep an eye out. We'll post it on the Macroverse socials and on my personal, at Ebonverse. Where do people find you on Twitter, etc.?
I am on Twitter. I'm at Matt Stevens now, and on Instagram, I am at Matt Stevens Art.
Yeah,
and that's yeah.
you got to
That's
combine them into one handle. It can be at Stevens Art, at Matt Stevens Art now.
now! Exclamation point.
Exactly.
I do want to pick your brain at some point about the way I know we've had this conversation just briefly, but Digital Pools is gonna, part of what we're going to be doing on Drip is doing regular Digital Pools universe type stuff. Our own version of this, where we talk about where the project is, and I'd love Alex to talk about how he thinks about writing, because he's got some processes that he uses, and I'd love to talk about how I make art, and
for sure.
So we'll be doing a regular thing, but I think the Restream setup, we want to make sure we hit as many different, and they don't make it easy. You can't just hit a button and get all the social media platforms at once. I don't think, but I guess that's one of the questions.
It's not as hard as I thought it would be, especially once you get everything connected. So I can definitely help you guys with that for sure.
Twitter, I think Instagram's the one that wouldn't work, and Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram doesn't work. You can do Facebook, but not Instagram. Yeah,
that's too bad, because that's our biggest following is,
of course,
Instagram. But YouTube, Twitter, and YouTube, Twitter. Does Telegram have a streaming?
Not Telegram. It's YouTube, Twitter, InDesign, Twitch, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Twitch, and I think there are a couple of others, but those are the main ones. Those are the ones that we use. Facebook as well, but not Instagram. Yeah. Must be. I think it's a API thing with Instagram where, for whatever reason, I don't think there's any external streaming service for them. But anyway, so keep an eye out. We'll have an announcement of a live Drip channel for Digital Pools over the next day or so. And of course, that won't necessarily be the first drop date, but it will be the date when you can subscribe and follow the channel and get set up to start to receive those drops. So make sure you keep an eye out for that and get subscribed, as you will not want to miss the first batch of stuff that is coming up. For me, I am at Ebonverse. Also, everything we're up to is at Macroverse across on Twitter, Macroverse HQ on Instagram. And as always, the best place to connect directly is in the Discord. So that's discord.gg/Macroverse. There is a bunch coming. I wish I could say more about the specifics of that, but it is a lot of exciting stuff over the next weeks and months. And I think by the end of this year, everyone will be very, very clear about what we're building, where it's going, and kind of the size and scope of what 2025 is going to look like. So very, very excited about that. So Matt, if you want to hang out for just a minute, happy to chat for a few more minutes, not live. And then I can tell you a couple of secret things that other people will learn later. So that's my
Okay.
tease to the audience. But don't go hunting down Matt trying to find out what we're doing.
Well, thanks for
We'll find
inviting me
out
on.
in
This
good
was a lot of
time.
fun.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said everyone else will find out in good time, but
Yeah.
it will be good. All right, Matt. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
us this evening, joining me this evening, and lots
Thank you
more
for having me.
to come.
Hopefully Tiny's okay.
I hope so too.
My apologies to Tiny for doing a
Oh well,
poor version of him.
now we got to do a. We're gonna have the competition. Is it Tiny's universe or is it Matt's universe? Tonight it's Matt's universe. So.
One night only. All right.